Welcome to ICS Arabia, and we have a special guest today, Samir Mokthar. He's an engineer and been practicing OT cybersecurity for 14 years or more. Welcome, Samir.
Yeah, thank you
Glad
very
to have
much,
you.
Dr. Suleiman. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome, and it's nice really to have you. Why don't you tell us about yourself and when did you start and how did you get into OT cybersecurity, please?
So myself, Samir Mokthar. So basically, I'm an electronics and communication engineer. So I studied control systems during my engineering. Then I was very much interested in network security. Then my first job was with Merck Pharmaceuticals as a contractor as security analyst. So I used to work for the German branch. So since then, my interest got developed for OT security. So then I moved to Mercedes Research and Development, where I was part of global cybersecurity team protecting plants all across the world. Then I moved to Digital 14 in UAE, so where I was heading the technical OT practice. So for the blue team, wherein I used to do compromise assessments, incident response for OT environments, especially electric grids, water utilities, and oil and gas. Then I moved to Fortinet as a solution architect. So I used to be part of Europe and Middle East team. I used to handle India as well. Since the business started growing in India, the India moved to APAC. Then my region was defined for Europe and Middle East. So I was manager. So I resigned from Fortinet a month ago, starting a new journey now. So I will soon announce the new exciting journey for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds interesting and exciting, really. So you've touched many, I can see many projects and many different industries, as I can
Yeah,
tell.
true. True.
So,
Yeah. So the focus when I was working in Middle East and Europe, so I came across electric utilities, water utilities, smart cities, oil and gas, manufacturing, transportation, uh, building management systems. So a wide variety of different verticals. Yeah.
and what kind of project did you? I mean, were you involved in these industries? I mean, what kind of project? What did you do?
So basically, I was a solution architect manager. So
Mhm.
we used to deal with mostly strategic customers within the region. So whenever there used to be large deals, we used to design solutions, especially across OT environments, making sure that the system doesn't break, right? So we used to work with multiple OEMs as well in this space, especially Yokogawa, Schneider Electric, Siemens, so that we used to design secure architecture for all these verticals. And at the same time, I used to present in conferences, conduct trainings, workshops within Fortinet, as well as people from outside Fortinet, for partners, for global system integrators, even for OEMs like Siemens, Yokogawa, these kind of you know control vendors.
Nice,
And
man.
uh, and uh, and I also used to interact with product management teams so that we keep up the growing requirements from the OT space, especially like for example, let's say you want 61850 dissector for substation. So that requirement we used to give it to product teams with all the technical specifications, work back and forth with OEMs, customers, and also back in with our consulting system engineers and developers and product managers. So basically, whatever new requirement used to pop up, we used to bring it, discuss, and implement that for our customers and make sure they work. And whenever they had some major issues, we used to get on call to resolve that, especially with the regional engineers who are on ground. So these are some of the activities we did. So basically, when we started this practice, I was early member of this OT cybersecurity practice within the Fortinet. So we grew as a leader. Fortinet is well known in the industry now. So we are on the multiple quadrants now. There are Forrester report. There are multiple different reports which came up as who's the industry leader. So Fortinet was one of them in OT cybersecurity. So we did achieve a lot of things in this space.
I mean, so Fortinet, I mean, they have like a range of services for OT security.
Yeah, true. Like they have rugged firewalls. At the same time, they also have switches, rugged access points. And at the same time, they have SIM, which has ICS MITRE attack framework, which can also serve OT environments in air-gap environments. And at the same time, we also had a lot of dissectors, especially to understand OT protocols like 61850, DNP3, IC104, BACnet. So we developed dissectors for this. So, and at the same time, we're also developing device detection. So we also had device detection in terms of to detect the devices on the network.
And what is the most sought service, most from your experience?
So mostly sought, like basically, if you talk about in general, so the customers are looking for visibility. So once they want visibility, then they want to implement. They want to do assessments like OT cybersecurity assessment to understand what's happening in the environment. So when they want visibility, they also want to know what kind of assets they have and what kind of risk profile they have. And at the same time, they wanted to follow best practices and what's happening in the industry. So they wanted to keep up with the industry. So on the same time, the most soft of uh, uh, devices, or I would say solutions, were ICS visibility vendors like IDS vendors, and at the same time firewalls. And switches. So basically, when we talked about microsegmentation was very interesting for customers. The reason being is if they want to follow any kind of compliance, right, and if they want to mature their cybersecurity program, so they don't want to change any kind of network. Without changing the network, there was only one solution wherein you can implement segmentation. So that was microsegmentation. So they were interested in understanding microsegmentation, test this, and then implement. So basically, like time-sensitive environments, obviously, in the process bus, we can't implement segmentation because it's time-sensitive. The protocols which run there also don't support microsegmentation. But anything beyond, above process bus, at level 3, at level 2.5, at level 2 sometimes, they were very much interested because all the IoT devices, let's say like printers, cameras, and also some machines which are required for maintenance, they don't need to connect to process bus directly. So that is where, without changing the network, without changing the architecture diagram, we used to suggest microsegmentation, which was sought after. And also we had something called transparent mode firewalls. Basically, even transparent mode firewalls can also be used in sensitive networks. So we did a lot of testings with Hitachi Energy, Siemens, before and also SCL. So these transparent mode firewalls were put between the IEDs and the engineering workstation and HMIs. So it's time sensitive, but still we could achieve that, milliseconds and microseconds time requirement for the process bus within the substation using transparent mode firewalls. So the beauty of transparent mode firewalls is you don't need to change the IP addresses. It just sits in line without touching any of your packets, without rerouting or touching your packets, just sending from one port to another port. It works on layer 2. So also there is a hardware bypass feature within the firewall. So whenever there is a power outage, or if there is a hardware failure or a software failure, the transparent firewall acts as a patch cord. So the traffic is not disturbed or stopped if there is any kind of issues on the firewall itself. So these are some of the very it looks like from the a lot of discussions, people don't talk much about these kind of solutions, but indeed a lot of customers who really want cybersecurity maturity and who want to be on top of the game, they are using such kind of solutions, working with OEMs.
Wow, nice. The macro segmentation is sought by, like you said, the mature organizations, right?
Yeah.
Most
So
of the
because
time.
even if you have brownfield, you can still use microsegmentation.
Okay.
Yeah. And at the same time, when you're using this segmentation, what is happening is the traffic is sent to the firewall. So
Mhm.
basically, whatever happens on the switch, let's say if you don't uh, put traffic, what do you call it as traffic mirroring on this switch, okay? You don't have visibility as to what's happening on this switch level, right? Even if you have firewall, you don't know what's happening on the switch. When you implement microsegmentation on switch level, so the traffic is rerouted towards the firewall in real time, so that the user or the operator knows what's happening between these two devices. So what kind of messages, whether it's a Modbus write is being sent, Modbus read is being sent between these two devices, or at the same time, they also have visibility which device is communicating to other device. And also we can implement policies that only one device can initiate the connection. The other is just a receiver. So you can go to that granular level.
Okay, because I was talking to a guest the other day, and he said sometimes you, like you said, you have an OT network that is okay and secure and isolated, maybe air gapped, and there is in parallel another IoT that is taking the reading from that OT sensors and going straight away to the internet, like
Cloud, yeah.
alone, IoT just alone, acting alone directly. So
So
maybe you're doing macro segmentation for that one, right? If you have this case,
yeah,
or what?
we came across a lot of these boxes, which
Yes.
are like IoT devices. Like, so basically, the base OS is Windows, okay, for
Mhm.
these IoT gateways, or it's
Okay.
Ubuntu, or it's some
Okay.
Linux distros.
Okay.
So as you mentioned, they say that they are air gapped. So what happens is, when I did some assessments previously, when I used to work for Digital 14, so we came across devices which nobody knew when we did the assessment. So what is happening? So even they were scared to remove or do anything, because these devices were communicating to internet. So when we did investigation and backtracked so many emails, a lot of back and forth investigation, so then we came to know that these devices were placed 2 years ago just for a POC, and it was forgotten. So there are a lot of devices like that. And
Uh,
we saw a lot of configure, which is like a old malware. And at
wow.
the same time, yeah. And these IoT devices, they are placed newly now because they want to have predictive analysis, and they
Yeah.
connect to internet. So when they have like Linux and Windows OS, obviously there are so many vulnerabilities on that,
Of
and
course.
it's exposed towards the internet. So that is where we suggested microsegmentation, and also unidirectional
Yeah.
communication. Only the IoT device has to
Yeah.
initiate the uh,
I was gonna tell him,
immediate.
if you have this case, use unidirection. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
In some cases, unidirectional diodes were not very sought after, because diodes can just send a one-way communication,
Yeah.
right? So firewalls were most sought after. The reason being is you can have two-way communication, even though making sure that just your IoT device initiates the connection.
Yep. Yeah. Interesting. Uh, so that was a cool thing. I mean, doing assessment with different industries. What was the most challenging industry, or were they the same? Like, or what industry you enjoyed most?
Enjoyed. I'm see, these are critical infrastructures, right? Like some of
Yes.
these places are guarded by military, right?
Oh, all right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Especially in the Gulf and Arab world,
yeah,
most
guarded
of the
by
time they are
military.
controlled by the government. Yes, or
Yeah.
protected by the
So
government. Yeah.
so we had multiple engagements. So the meeting was there in the afternoon. So me and my colleague went to this place, but the problem was we took a taxi. We didn't take our cars. We took a taxi, and we had laptops, and these laptops had cameras, and they were not allowed. Even the phones were not allowed, which had cameras. That was
Yeah.
fine because we just went for a meeting to initiate the assessment. So
Uh,
now we had to leave our laptop somewhere, right? So we left it with the military. So the military guys said, "What time you are coming back? How long is your meeting?" So we said like just it's 1 hour meeting. We're just trying to catch up, and we'll leave after 1 hour. So as you know, like once we got in, you have to like give all your ID, wait for people to come in, join. So it happened so that instead of 1 hour, we took like 90 minutes. And now we come back to collect our laptops. We're not getting our laptops. The military, we're not getting our laptops. The military guy is saying, like, you said 1 hour and you are late. How come you are late? And I have to raise an escalation or some kind of thing. And we didn't know what to do. Like, we are trying to explain, and the guy is not
Yeah.
accepting it. He is purely up to his military terms. So then we
Yeah.
have to call our person who we are supposed to meet in the premises. He had to come request, and he gave us a warning that next time you do this, we'll escalate this to your company, something like that. So that was very interesting, challenging. And the second thing is, once we started the assessment, we had to buy these phones without cameras. That was because we had to communicate to like to our to our team, right? For us to buy a phone without a camera.
Oh man.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah. I mean, who sells these equipment without a camera? I think it's rare.
yeah, it's very rare. So we had to buy
Yeah.
some. Yeah, it took a lot of time for us to figure out which one to buy, and we
I
had to
did.
have some internet as well, right? So they said like we can't connect to any of their network.
Mm.
So we had to connect to internet to send emails, exchange emails, whatever. So
Not
we
use
had
the
to make
internet.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Who
So
said
these are
that?
challenging.
The company or the army
The
or the company?
army, these are the army rules, basically. So
The
you
army.
can't take any kind of phones inside.
Oh, so they are
So
familiar with technology. The army people.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe they
So yeah,
train.
and also
Yeah.
we are not used to going into this kind of environments, right? It's all barbed wire, people with guns, people with
Uh,
army. So
yeah.
yeah, it was interesting stuff.
Got it. So let's get back to the
Mhm.
micro segmentation, and I know that you are very familiar and knowledgeable about the architecture, the OT architecture, secure one.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, what what was your observation about, from visiting these industries? I mean, or companies. What is the most common like issues that they're having, and are they secure architecturally?
So most of these environments, right? They all going towards digital transformation. Yeah. So
Mm,
they want to upgrade the systems. They want to connect to their central HQ, enterprise systems like
mm,
ERP systems. At the same time, they are bringing in new technology so that the management has more visibility, and they can optimize their operations, get
mm,
more profits. Wherever. So they have real insights. So that is where what is happening is, most of these environments which are siloed earlier, they are all getting connected. So one of the challenge what we faced was, so you have like, let's say 4 to 5 plants. All these 4 to 5 plants needs to be connected back and given access now. So the challenge with these 4 to 5 plants, they all have same subnets.
mm.
So yeah,
Oh,
now how do you connect them? That was a
mm,
challenge. So basically, they wanted to implement a remote access solution. Now, if you want to implement a remote access solution, all the subnets are same. So you can't do any kind of routing, anything. So we had something like in firewalls called virtual IPs. We called it as VIPs. So
yep.
we place, like, let's say there is assembly line, you place a firewall. So you give, even though they have the same old networks in the background, but on the external facing level, they used to have a different VIP, virtual IPs. So that is how you identify they are different plants. And even though they had old, networks, they can still operate in this similar fashion without much of the changes. The only thing is they need to place a firewall, giving them VIP, which is virtual IPs. Now this secure remote access solution can connect to these different, it knows now, okay? It can map the IPs. So because this is behind a virtual IP for each plant. So when
Okay.
you have these same networks, you can't do any kind of routing, yeah, according to the networking principles. So that is where we placed firewalls to connect back these sites for any kind of digital transformation, remote access, even security operations. So one more challenge was one of the OEMs, they came up with a requirement that power SCADA. So the power SCADA had to be exposed, the reporting and the billing functions had to be exposed to the enterprise network. So the stakeholders wanted to have visibility on that part. So now this SCADA does basic authentication, okay, and
Okay.
it has a lot of vulnerabilities. And the OEM knew that exposing this poses a huge risk. So anybody gets access from IT, that means they have access to the entire OT network, because this is the power SCADA which is monitoring and managing the entire OT network. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they came to us asking for a solution. So we custom built a solution. Basically, what we did was we integrated the web application firewall with this SCADA. So now this web application firewall is sitting in the front. The SCADA application is behind the web application firewall, and it is blind to the people who are accessing this web page. So it is completely safeguarded behind the web. So you're not exposing your entire application, right? So it's behind a web application firewall. Now, whatever attacks you're launching on the web application firewall, which has all the security rules, signatures to mitigate this, at least to monitor. So that was the use case, because they couldn't patch this server power SCADA at the same time they wanted to expose. And now authentication becomes a challenge, right? So you need to implement two-factor authentication, because this has basic authentication you can't implement. So the authentication part was also taken by web application firewall. So you need to log
Oh,
in. The page was exposed from the web application firewall. So you need to log in. The authentication, two-factor authentication, it integrates with AD, SAML, takes the authentication, two-factor authentication. Then without even exposing all the features of Power SCADA,
all right.
just exposing a reporting feature or maintenance feature to the IT.
Yeah.
So now you are secure from vulnerabilities, secure from account compromise, also secure from not exposing the application too much. So this was the interesting use cases. Yeah, people say like, web application firewall is very IT oriented, right? But there are a lot of use cases. These solutions can be, customized and serve a lot of industries when they are going through digital transformation.
And where does the firewall sit? Is it in the MZ zone
Yeah,
or
in
what is
DMZ.
in the
So
MZ?
yeah, so basically there is a firewall, then there is a web application firewall, because
Mm.
firewalls are good at lower level protocols. They're
Yeah.
not very good at understanding complex web application
Correct.
attacks like SQL injection. So that is where a web application was a best choice to suggest for this OEM.
So anybody who wants to manage the SCADA has to log into the web application,
Yeah,
authorize there, and then get it.
yeah.
That's
Even the application is not fully exposed. It is coming through the application, which is the SCADA application is blind, so you can't reach through an IP to this application. It is the web application firewall which is initiating the connections to the SCADA.
okay. Okay. And it worked, right?
It worked. Yeah, it worked. Yeah, it worked very
Okay.
well. It took some time to
Yes.
do the customization and integrate the application, but it worked very well. Yeah.
All right. And have you found from visiting some organizations similar cases where they have OT applications exposed to the internet?
No, I have not seen any OT
Mm.
application directly exposed to the internet. So
Okay.
these industries, they know like
They
there's a
know.
security risk. They don't like put HMI on internet or something. It's most of the times it's very accidental that they do it. but attackers are very persistent. That is what I have seen. So I was incident response consultant as well, worked as.
Okay.
So what I have seen is the attackers. I worked on one of the nation state attack wherein they attacked electric utility on uh, email servers. So basically, they were trying to compromise email servers with using this email servers that are trying to get into the OT network. So basically, they had web shells on these email servers. So it was kind of and they had extracted most of the information from these environments, you know.
Okay.
So basically, it's true. It's not a hype that attacks mostly they come from IT and IT to OT. So it's most. I mean, like I think there is a hype that saying that SCADA applications are exposed to internet, all these things. But from my real experience, what I have seen is it's the IT enterprise day-to-day applications which get compromised, like web servers, like Log4j, you know.
Yeah.
So, and also you have like smart IoT applications for smart cities, right? They
Yeah.
need to be exposed for people. Like if you go for transportation, you need to have a mobile app to book your tickets or whatever. So somehow these attackers they get into enterprise network. From there, they can get into the OT network.
Yeah.
So most of the cases, what I have seen is something similar to this, rather than just HMI getting exposed. Once you expose HMI, so you don't even need to wait. It just takes like seconds to get compromised because there are so many automated scanners running from the attackers.
Yep.
So the only thing you to test this is take a honeypot, any open source, put it
Yeah.
on the internet. You will see and connect it to a SIM, any SIM, open source SIM. Within 10 minutes, you will start seeing the attacks.
Yeah.
And for me, I tried this, and my SIM went down. There are so many attacks in like maybe it took just like 3-4 days. Within 3-4 days, my SIM went down because of so many alerts, and I was not able to investigate. There are so many alerts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I agree.
yeah.
It's very
So
heavy, very
basically,
intense. Yes.
yeah, basically like all these windows, what I saw was most of the attacks were on SSH, like port 22 and
Yeah.
port 445 and SMB, all SMB ports, one taking from 138.
Of course.
Yeah, so basically the one where they can use a malware to spread, like the WannaCry, this kind of, worms.
Yeah. And regarding the email hack that you did some incident with it,
Mhm.
did they manage to hack the mail server and enter to the OT network?
So they were trying to enter to the OT. By then, luckily, we stopped the attack in its tracks. So lateral movement was there. So they were trying to get into AD first. We saw some
AT.
tracks in AD, yeah, Active
Yeah.
Directory to dump, and we saw some lateral movements towards testing machines.
Right.
But luckily, they didn't enter the OT environment. So, but they were
So,
there since almost like more than 6 months, we would say.
wow. And the
Yeah.
entry point was the mail server.
Yeah, mail server. So you use OVA, right? Yeah, and everybody uses webmail,
Yeah.
like for your office purposes. Yeah. So we have also seen like compromise of email uh, from and sending those emails as a phishing to
Yeah.
other people. So because it is coming from a trusted source, people see it's a trusted entity, and when they receive this email, they also get think that okay, let me share this information because it's coming from a legitimate source. And also WannaCry made a huge uh, impact. So I worked on an incident where the manufacturing had to shut down the entire global operations. So they had firewalls, everything was in place. The only problem is they didn't had complete visibility. Obviously, the devices were legacy and one devices. The firewalls were there just for VPN connectivity from one plant to another plant, site to site. That's it. So, and
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
So the attack, they attacked the mail server, and then they created some accounts, and
Yeah,
they did some phishing from these accounts
yeah.
internally, so they can get a shell, a web shell, or whatever, right?
Yeah, they can get more information. Maybe they can
Yeah.
click on this links which they are sent, you know.
Or
So
maybe get execute some shells so they can run, they can get inside, right? Did
yeah,
they
yeah.
do it? Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So basically, like there's so many things to it. I think it's very confidential for me to share most
Yeah,
of the
I know. We're
information.
talking
Yeah,
about a company called I
yeah,
don't know, whatever, ICS Arabia, company called ICS Arabia. So
yeah. Okay, yeah.
yeah,
So, yeah, even a generic malware, like like even though WannaCry was not designed for OT environments, the OT environments got impacted a lot. So how could we find which machines were infected? Was because I don't like there were only two technologies which helped us. So one is SIM, the other one is DNS server.
it's,
So
it's as usual.
yeah, DNS server. The reason being is we could know, like WannaCry had a kill switch. So all the machines which were infected were sending this trying to reach this kill switch URL. So that is
Uh-huh.
how we could identify which machines. Now you are cleaning these machines, new machines are getting infected.
Oh.
So yeah. So now new guy comes, connects his laptop or whatever, his machine gets infected. So it was a complete menace. It took almost a month to bring down this incident because all the global operations were impacted. Global entities were infected as well. So
And like uh, the team that did the response, were they like digital forensic, or what were they?
so basically, I was part of the team. So it was incident response team.
Mm,
Then we also sought some external help because
mm,
when you have some incident like this, we are fully focused on investigating and containing that. For digital forensics, we had internal team members, but we still sought external help so that they are just focused on digital forensics part, and we are focused on the incident.
mm.
So the idea was to recover as soon as possible, at the same time stop this spreading of infection. So we had like a hotline established. We had a war room set up for this,
War
so that
room.
we yeah, war room set up, and we were working 24/7. Sometimes people working like 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours.
Wow,
And yeah, and we
that's
are
tough.
getting calls. Yeah, getting calls from plant managers. Uh, yeah, and we had endpoint security teams helping us. So a lot of efforts were put in.
Wow.
So it also like there are a lot of technologies in place. The problem is it's not about these companies. They don't have technologies in place. They have technologies in place, but they're not configured well, or they don't have visibility. As I said, like they had like SIM, but they had firewalls. They had endpoint security, but not. I mean, the security practices were not best practices were not followed.
And what was the issue with the mail server? I mean, was it buggy or was it vulnerable?
So
The
basically,
root cause. I mean, the root cause. What was it?
for these email servers, yeah, there was 0 days.
On zero day.
Yeah. Yeah. So the 0 day and this malware they had placed. It also the web shells they had placed. It also had authentication. So if you scan this, you will never find this web shell
Mm.
because and you cannot connect because you need to authenticate to this web shell. So,
Really?
yeah, you need to authenticate. There is the security key and all the communications. The best part was we had the network traffic for this attack, but this was all hidden in encryption. So luckily, what happened was we assigned this to a team to decrypt, okay, because we got the keys. So I don't remember, it was RC4 encryption or something. So somehow we found the key, but the problem was there were so many millions of messages you had to do decrypt one by one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So basically,
this is like the hack was a one big CTF challenge.
yeah, CTF challenge.
It was
So basically,
all kind of activities like reversing, digital forensic, you name it, huh?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, my director assigned the task for me, and not for me. What happened was like he said, like in the team, they we are not able to crack this. So anybody just try, and try to crack this. So
Yeah.
basically, yeah, basically like I sat for a day. Alhamdulillah, I was able to write a script. We decrypted all these communications at once. And we were able to find that key as well, which
That was
was used for
that
communication.
was before the age of AI, right?
Yeah, age of AI. Yeah. This was before the
Before.
age of AI. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Now
yeah, yeah.
maybe it will be easier now. Maybe
Yeah,
you
it will be
think.
easier, but when during incident response, it's also
Mm,
very important, right? Like you can't use AI because you are taking confidential customer information and
mm.
putting it in the AI. That means if it gets cracked, that means all the customer information is lost. So in the age of AI, it's very important now. Data sovereignty is very important. You don't know how this data is getting stored. Even though there are a lot of compliances, a single vulnerability can expose all of your data. And in Europe, if you know, this
Yeah.
ChatGPT was fined because of this vulnerability that the customers could see other customers' data. So it's like, and also with all this AI stuff now, so you have to make sure that your data sovereignty remains with you, and mostly you have to rely on offline AI models.
Yeah. Agree.
So which wherein the data doesn't leave your premises, but you still leverage the advantages of AI. There's a lot of work need to be done in this space, especially for critical infrastructures, wherein you need to customize AI models to serve this industry. Because now the attacks are happening at machine speed, right? Now
Yep.
we face this kind of complex malware back then. Obviously, we'll see more complex malware,
It
and
will.
we need AI, the help of AI, so that
Yeah.
to bring down the time to do accurate analysis, to do much of the mundane tasks, routine
Mundane. Yeah.
tasks. Yeah, uh, and also like as I said, like if you want to decrypt something like the malware, so you just use AI's help to decrypt this rather than you can spend on containment and remediation rather than spending your time on analyzing these kind of issues.
Yeah. Analyzing is AI. I agree. Is faster,
Yeah, and
especially if it has so many codes and so many gibberish words and text. You don't want to read it by eye, line by line.
yeah.
Just
So
give it to the machine.
so currently I'm working on this offline AI project as well. So which is
Nice, man.
quite interesting for me.
Yeah.
So most probably by January I would announce like something. So I'm testing a lot of things. I'm
Yeah.
seeing there is hope and positive things coming out of this offline AI. Sometimes there is a lot of hallucination.
Yeah.
You also need to train the model, do repetitive training, understand why it's hallucinating.
Yeah.
But there is a huge potential in this space.
There is much. There's a lot of potential. I mean, especially the solutions that are like you said, native and local. Uh, it will be, I think, in high demand if you can
Yeah,
provide these kind of services. The
yeah,
companies have their own and ready to tackle all
yeah, yeah, yeah,
cybersecurity challenges.
yeah. So
Yeah,
because cyber war,
use agentic AI and teach them some information like RAG,
mhm,
the uh, and yeah, you will have your own local data, and then just get the brain going.
Yeah.
what I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So because I tried a lot of cloud models, the problem with cloud models is that you need to share your data outside, and it's quite mature. The systems to build a RAG in cloud, it's very easy. It
Yeah.
doesn't take much. It doesn't hallucinate much, and you
Mm.
have access to larger models like ChatGPT, Claude, these kind of models you can use. But the problem with on-premise is you need longer times to train it, and you don't have access to same tools. Okay, and
Yeah.
nowadays the cyber war. I mean, the war is happening on cyber first. Yeah, then the troops are landing later on. So
Yeah.
especially in this, there is a huge need and gap in this industry, in the OT industry, critical infrastructure industry, that we need to have native solutions, leverage AI and machine learning models
Yeah.
without connecting to internet, without sharing this data. Because nowadays the political situation, geopolitical situation is such that you don't know which country is going to attack other country, right? So at
Mm.
least we should have tools to defend ourselves, especially in
Yeah.
these critical infrastructure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because as I mentioned, once the data is gone, one web shell can get access to your entire infrastructure.
Mm.
One web shell to ChatGPT infrastructure or any kind of AI cloud models can expose your entire internet. So in fact, I mean, you are sorting AI to be your friend, but once it gets access to enemies, then they can use it to their advantage. It becomes your enemy as well. So it just few lines of asking questions, and the AI model will spit out everything to the attackers.
Yeah, I
Like I
think,
said, like
like you said, now there are many open source agentic frameworks that
Mhm.
enable you to build your own and feed them with your like data and your RAG systems, so you don't rely much on the cloud. I
Yeah,
think it's doable, but it's getting better. I think.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because even like I saw, like as I mentioned, the problem is not with the technology. I see a lot of solutions. People are investing millions, the critical infrastructure,
Mm.
but those are not well fine-tuned. Those solutions have very generic, where it throws a lot of data to people, and people get overwhelmed. So
Yeah,
after because I have seen people using solutions. When I used to ask these environments, like, what is your challenge? They used to say, like, we have security solutions, but we don't have people to manage this. That's another problem,
exactly.
right?
The people, the people skills. This is the issue.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's people skills, and at the same time, solution skills, solution problem as well, which is throwing thousands of alerts per day. Like let's say if you take like 30 alerts per day, right? 20 to 30 alerts for a medium sized environment. If you have like even like 10 pumping stations, if you get two alerts from one pumping station, it's
yeah,
20. So for 30 days, it's 600 alerts. Who is going to analyze this, right?
yeah,
So then you bring another technology team or technology to fine tune this. Then you bring SIM. Then the SIM becomes bigger. Then you need people to manage that. So it's like a loop.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. And also, I've practiced this myself, and also I've read it that you don't need really to fine tune if you have a challenge with the infrastructure. The right systems, they this is like an alternative to fine tuning, because you don't have to do the heavy work, the heavy lifting. Just get any talking model, local model, open source model, which has a lot of data, like you said, and parameters, like you said. But then let it depend on let the agent only rely on what you are feeding it from your RAG system. So I think this is one way to overcome the issue of hallucination, but you need the people skills as well to customize this for you.
yeah, true.
Because I'm building my own tools using RAG systems,
Oh,
and
mashallah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm aware of these issues like
Mhm.
hallucinations and the fine tuning problem, and so there is a way around it, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
what is your experience? Just trying to understand, like, how far have you reached? Is it working well? Do you have hope? Have you seen some results?
Well, currently I'm improving my tool. If you heard about it, ICS rank.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen. I've
Yeah,
seen.
yeah. Now there will be future version. I'm now announcing
Mhm.
this. So, using the RAG system, the RAG concept, to analyze the exposed devices and their issues. So
Okay.
nothing, no fancy results so far. I'm still work in
Mhm.
progress. I will
Mhm.
let you know when, and I will share this as well in LinkedIn when.
Sure, sure. All the best. So we need, like, see, we have talent. We need such solutions. I think, Eh,
Yeah,
especially.
because what I'm exploring now is not just its ICS rank. It's that I'm exploring the concepts that might solve the issues that you just mentioned. That how we can build our own tools and let it rely on what we tell it to do, not hallucinate. And
Yeah.
so let's see how it goes. I'm still learning and discovering, because it's a new field and for me. Uh,
Yeah. So one more interesting topic I wanted to discuss is cloud, right?
yeah, please.
So so we saw a lot of critical infrastructures, a lot of cloud providers, but we did in Fortinet we did a project with Google Cloud in Spain. So for one of
Spain.
the electric utilities, yeah. So earlier, the transmission operator they were not allowing the utilities to go on cloud. Yeah. So the use case was with Google Cloud. Then they allowed the utilities to go on cloud. So we secured their infrastructure on cloud, wherein
Mhm.
they were trying to build a secondary control center on the cloud. So the primary exists on-prem as usual, like how the utilities have been, working for ages. But secondary, where they had a lot of advantages like cost and at the same time flexibility to bring up the machines, and also they used cloud platform for control when remote employees or maybe like contractors to log in to their environment. Yeah, and also have predictive maintenance, this kind of advantages, and also they got geo redundancy, right? So that's another thing. But completely, how long can we how much can we rely on cloud is a big question as well, right?
Yeah,
Because the recent outages of
yeah.
Amazon or Cloudflare, yeah, and these critical
Amazon,
infrastructures.
Amazon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So that is where, like, I would say, like, from my experience, critical, you can send, like, do a data analysis on the cloud, but relying for control and your operations, I think cloud is still, very not a very mature technology to rely on. Yeah.
yeah,
Especially for your security. Like I see, like a lot of customers, they are going towards cloud for their security. So once there is an incident, sometimes you need to cut down your internet, right? But once you cut down your internet, you can't rely on cloud. Uh, so you need to have visibility in your on-premise, so
yes,
that, because as I said, like let's say that you get hit with a ransomware. If you're dependent on your cloud, you need to cut down the internet sometimes during the incident response. Yeah. Uh, because to stop the exfiltration, obviously you don't do it immediately, because when you are dealing with nation state, first of all, you need to scope the incident to see where and all they have access, and then you take an informed decision to cut down the access.
yeah,
So when you cut down, you don't have visibility of your environment in terms of responding to cybersecurity attack. Then it becomes a very big challenge. Like if your SIM is on the cloud, right?
yeah,
If your tools, visibility tools is on the cloud, or maybe you are heavily dependent on fingerprinting technology, right, on the cloud platform, then it becomes a huge challenge. So that is where, like, you need to have self-reliant systems as your SCADA. You have to treat your cybersecurity systems as your SCADA, as your DCS, and make sure you have enough control on-prem, so that in case of, you can depend on cloud, there is no harm in that. But during an incident, you should also do tabletop exercises to understand how you're gonna recover from an incident. and see how you're gonna trigger the BCP, business continuity
Yeah.
process, and how cybersecurity teams gets involved, and what you can do in-house. And do you have teams to help externally? Do you have any incidents response retainers so that you can call in the hotline and bring in people to respond quickly? Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, you hit the root of the problem because every time they talk about, oh, this vendor is controlling us, we don't have our data. Once you get in, you cannot get out because there will be like data lockout, whatever. I always tell them, the root cause is this. I mean, especially from country level, they need to think deeply about this. I mean, how to be independent one day. It's not going to happen in 1 year or two, but at least
Yeah.
have this mentality. Start
Yeah.
small.
A
So,
vision.
yeah, the vision.
Yeah.
You don't want to be consumer forever. I always tell them this is the root problem. Yep.
And also, it doesn't take much of money because there's so many open source solutions you can
Yeah,
use.
exactly.
So you use maybe like one of the commercial tool on the top layer. For log collecting, there are so many things you can do. Like there are so many
Yeah.
fees. You just need compute resources. Dump the
And
logs there.
and if you worry about open source solutions because they have their issues, because you have to maintain them and secure them, well, this create also another business opportunities for people who adopt these open source,
Yeah,
take care of them, customize them, and then sell them to the government. So win-win. You know,
yeah, yeah,
you you increase you improve the business, and then you also, as a government, you become, or organization, you become secure because you're using what the local companies are giving to
yeah.
open
And
source.
also you reduce the cost
Yeah,
because yeah. So honeypots, you have open source, you can use them.
yeah,
Like obviously, like I don't ask you to use honeypots in lower levels, but at least you can use it in DMZs. Yeah. You can also use it internally on a like level 2 level 3 these environments, but low interaction honeypots. So you need to be careful with honeypots as well, because if you use high interaction honeypots and you don't have enough teams to monitor these honeypots, right? So then the attacker can use it as a pivot. So yeah, yeah.
you putting honeypot to spot the hackers, then you get attacked, huh? At the end.
Yeah, yeah. Because obviously, like there are
Yeah,
technologies, like for example, sometimes if you
yeah,
don't configure honeypots well, like commercial honeypots, right? What they do is like they allow attacker to interact maybe for an hour, then they wipe out the machine completely.
yeah.
So yeah. So but if you forget to configure this policy, right, and you just leave it as it is, you
Forget
are
about it.
making,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
A new attack surface. You're making
Yeah.
a new attack surface.
Yeah, so you're making it too vulnerable because honeypots are meant to be vulnerable. So they're
Yeah,
making it easy for the attacker,
yeah,
and you don't have proper monitoring teams, then it becomes a challenge as well.
yes,
And if you have a ransomware which is like doing moving like a worm, then it can use that machine to spread infection all across, right? So yeah. So yeah,
yeah.
have to be very careful using these technologies, but yeah, they help you when they're low interaction. So you need to know exactly how you need to use. Yeah.
Nice, nice, Samir. So, I mean, before we leave, can
Mhm.
you like advise organizations how to start securing their environment, like whether focusing on architecture or solutions, especially organizations that factories, because we have so many factories in Kuwait
Mhm.
that are not, they don't have the budget as big as the
Mhm.
oil companies.
Yeah.
So how do they start from your experience in projects, in many projects?
Yeah, basically like so start little basic, like having visibility, understanding what are your assets, how they are configured, because I think any organization nowadays, no matter how small, they can afford a firewall. They have a firewall,
Yeah.
right? So make sure your boundaries are protected, whether it's IT/OT boundary or the perimeter boundary. Make sure what applications are exposed, and see how the network flows are from your enterprise to your OT environment. And you see, check what protocols are being used to communicate. And that's one part, like making sure like your house is safe, right? So from the outside boundary, then again internally you create boundaries. You see flows, what devices are exposed externally. Then once you have the visibility, then you can slowly bring in more technologies. So like some companies, they buy SIM and SOAR at the same time. There is no need to do that
Mm.
because it takes like years to mature your SIM, then bring the SOAR. So by then, I've seen organizations doing this, like buying SIM and SOAR together and not implementing a single, playbook in the SOAR, and the license get expired by the time they are ready. So these are
Oh, man.
costly mistakes. So
Yes. Yeah, they have to be ready before they buy it.
yeah, they have to ready it. So
Mm.
even if you want, I would say like buying any commercial solution, use some open source tools, collect the logs,
Yeah.
understand what is their environment. So it's not about making business or having good solutions or anything like that. I'm not against that. I'm against like people using critical infrastructures, you know, overselling them, or maybe technologies which don't require them. Okay, like maybe like let's say there is a process bus. Somebody says, okay, you can use firewall here to do segmentation. Nonsense, right? Completely. They sell the
Mm.
firewall, they can't implement, or maybe they don't get approval from OEM. So, so there's a lot of things. First of all, you need to have visibility, have boundary protected. So basically, I would say to point out like mostly, and your access. These three things
Mm.
you need to be aligned with. So basically, you can go with any visibility solution or SIM solution. Then have a firewall and make sure two-factor authentication is implemented. And this is the basic three things you can start with. Then you can go for advanced solutions, I would say. And you will figure out by yourself what you need if you have these three solutions, I would say. So I
Yeah.
don't need to like explain more or give a big advisory or consultancy. You will figure out by yourself what you need. Yeah. So don't overkill yourself at first shot. Have a roadmap, go slow,
So,
but at the same time, once you have boundaries protected and internal boundaries protected, authentication is protected, done like two-factor authentication, vendor management is done properly. I would say you would secure a huge percentage of your
mm.
environment. Then you can go for maybe fancy solutions which are required at the later stage.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What are you doing? What you're saying? I mean, is you assessing your posture, and then based on that, you will know what you will need because it will speak by
Yeah,
itself. You don't
yeah,
have
true,
to
true.
you don't have to assume
Yeah,
or get
le-
sold and you don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like compliance. One thing I didn't talk about compliance, like OTCC 62443, they are good,
Mm.
but they are very generic, I would say, like
Very good.
the 62443. So there is something called for transportation TS 50701.
Yeah.
So that is very specific and very well designed and mentioned exactly, and it's related to railway systems. So we
Yeah.
need to have something like that, very specific, not very generic, like
Yes.
62443
Yes.
for every industry, for manufacturing, electric utilities. Then I would say you can use those kind of
Yeah.
documentation to start your journey to protect yourself. And also, like one vendor lock-in is also a problem nowadays because there is a problem with threat intelligence, right? If you have multiple vendors, then you have multiple threat intelligence. Like let's say like the firewall you are buying from one vendor, you don't need to buy from the same vendor the antivirus
Yeah.
because if the firewall misses the attack, at least the antivirus will be able to the endpoint security will be able to detect that because they have different intelligence systems, threat intelligence gathering systems. So you need to make sure that you have different vendors, not too many different vendors so that it becomes difficult to manage, but at least make sure wherever you are detecting this, like on endpoints, on maybe on the network, on the perimeter, so that you have different threat intels. At least if one system misses, the other system catches the threat.
Yeah, good point. I mean, that's quite wise, Samir.
Yeah,
That you
thank
don't
you.
rely heavily, you don't put your eggs on one.
Yeah, one
On one.
basket, because not one solution can detect all attacks. Sometimes
Yes.
you need different engines, different methodologies to detect uh,
Yes.
these attacks. And as you mentioned, like because of AI, introduction of AI, the attacks are also becoming sophisticated, complex
Exactly.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. You support, you think that by having AI that you are now okay. I mean solutions with AI that you are now advanced, but you don't look at the other side that
Yeah.
they are also using AI. So
Yeah.
it will be AI
So
against AI. So which AI is better?
true, true.
I think this is the future. I mean, we might have another team members with us. You know, the AI agents.
Mhm.
I think there will be in everywhere. I think because they are
Yeah.
starting to increase now
Um,
number. So yeah, I mean,
um,
you also need to fine tune your AI agent in the future. I mean, to help
So
you stand against the other offensive malicious AI agents that are
yeah,
targeting. Yeah,
obviously, so there is no denial. So you can't escape. You can't have endless discussions about AI. So you have to embrace it, use
yeah,
it to your advantage, rather than having discussion whether it's good or bad. So it's same as knife, whether you use it to cut vegetables or you use it to, commit crime. So basically use AI now or you'll be left out in this
good.
race.
So, like you said, it's not about the tool; it's about the mentality. So, what is the mentality before we wrap up? For a security professional to have? What is a good skill to have, mentality
So the
wise?
so mentality wise, like never stop learning new things.
Mm,
Take risks, take challenges. Basically, if somebody is not doing it and just scared on sitting on the fence, don't do that. Take a decision, jump, get into the environment, make your hands dirty. The help will come automatically. So you don't know from where, from your colleagues, from
yeah,
the customer, from your vendor. So don't sit on the fence. That is what I would like to tell people when
yeah,
they are doing something. OTT environments are very challenging, but the people are always helpful. So just ask before doing anything. So if they are busy, they are literally busy in some their operations. Make them friends, take their advice, but don't sit on the chair or on the fence. Get into the action and never stop.
yeah. I mean, totally agree. I mean, this field is action. Is
Yeah,
it's like a war or whatever. So if you
yeah,
don't
it's
like
like a war.
action, yeah, if you don't like action, then this is maybe not the right field for you. If you don't
True,
like,
true.
yeah, if you like small pace, quiet,
Mm.
easygoing, just do it and forget about it. No, then cybersecurity is not.
Yeah, because when I used to like Fortinet taught me a lot. Like
Mm, yeah,
so I came across industries which I never worked, but I had to get my hands dirty, learn things. Alhamdulillah, it was a nice time at Fortinet for me. It taught
nice.
me a lot from the product perspective, from the customer perspective, strategic alignments,
Yeah,
product development, all these things. So the technology itself. So sometimes you need to be like humble to understand. No matter how knowledgeable you are, there's new things to learn.
yeah.
Just ask people, get in. Yeah, sometimes you will be like ridiculed. Don't shy away from that. Sometimes they say, "Oh, you don't know even this." They will say, "It's fine. Like everybody's learning. Nobody learned.
Nobody knows everything.
Uh, and nobody knows everything." Sometimes it may be a stupid question. Don't hesitate.
Yeah,
But eventually, what you see is the end goal. Like after 5 years or 3 years where you will be,
Yeah.
rather than just shying away from people who might try to put you down at this moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Control your ego. That's what he
Yeah,
said.
true. Yeah, control your ego, and
Yeah.
if somebody says something, just ignore it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Very true. Thank you,
And
Samir. Really. Yeah. Please go ahead. Anything?
that's it. Like, I mean, your career is permanent. Whatever they say, it's just temporary for that moment.
All right. Thank you. Any last word, Samir?
Nothing. Thanks to you, Dr. Suleiman, for creating such a wonderful podcast and community, and working towards securing the critical infrastructure, that means securing critical infrastructure is securing humanity, I would say. So
Yeah.
basically, every citizen's right, a basic humanity right, to defend ourselves. That means, because now, like, like what happened in Ukraine and anywhere.
Yeah.
So, so, so what I mean, when you defend your critical infrastructure, when you have ability to defend yourself,
Mhm.
that's the basic right you are having. So it's not
Yeah.
something which is like, good to have. It's a must have to defend your infrastructure. Yeah.
It's not a luxury. It's not a luxury.
It's not a luxury, yeah. So because human lives are dependent on this, it's a serious matter. Economies are dependent on that. Environment is dependent on this. So I would say it's a basic right to defend your critical infrastructure. So yeah, that is where I wanted to call out Basem as well. Thanks to Basem
Yeah,
for
Basim.
reaching out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was very persistent in following up. I was little busy traveling and during the end of my notice period as well. So there were so many things to wrap up. But yeah, Alhamdulillah, here we are now. Yeah,
Yeah. I
thanks,
mean,
Dr. Salaman.
he's one of the core members in ICS Arabia team, and he's my friend.
Yeah,
Really appreciate everything he does. I mean, he's a great guy.
yeah. So thanks, Dr. Suleiman, and thanks, Basim.
Yeah, thank you all, and thank you, Samir, for joining us and sharing your information with us. It's been really fun to hear you, and I learned a lot from you today, and exploring experiences that you saw, sharing your experiences with us. Thank you very much,
My pleasure.
and thank you everybody. I hope you like this episode. Please comment if you have any suggestions, and you can reach me if you have anything, or reach Samir in LinkedIn, right? They can find
Yeah,
you on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Yeah. They can find me on LinkedIn.
Yes, I will share in the description. Take care all, and bye bye.